On July 22nd, 2015, dispatchers receive a 911 call. On the other side of the phone was a quiet, faint whisper that said, "My brother is attacking my entire family," followed by some rustling sounds, something that kind of sounded like a scream, until the call abruptly ended. This is just the reality of filming TikToks. We're in my car. Don't have time to film a video. What do? Pull over on the side of the road, film. Is that awkward? Are people walking by looking at me? Yes, it's awkward. Does that answer your question? Okay, because we don't have any time for any further questions. The Bever family massacre in 2015 in Oklahoma. The Bever family consisted of the father David, the mother April, 7 children. They all lived together in their family house in Broken Arrow in Oklahoma. The youngest child was still a baby. The oldest one was 18 years old. The family was really close. The children were homeschooled. April was a stay-at-home mom. David was a provider of the family. He would go to work, but the family would spend a lot of time together. They got along. It was really nothing unusual. 2 of the oldest sons were 18-year-old Robert and 16-year-old Michael. The 2 boys shared a room together. They spent a lot of time together, and they often stayed up late to play video games or just browsing the internet. Browsing the internet, however, really became a problem when Robert and Michael started using it to look up a lot of concerning information. Robert and Michael became obsessed with true crime. Now, before you say anything, let me stop you right there. I've said it before and I will say it again. There's a difference between finding true crime fascinating in the way that we do, because it is fascinating to try and understand how someone's mind can be so sick and twisted, allow them to commit these crimes, wanting to understand why someone's brain is so messed up. A completely different thing than wanting to look up the criminals because you look up to them. You look at them and you want to be them. That's a different thing. Michael and Robert became obsessed with infamous serial killers such as Ted Bundy and Charles Manson. They put people like them up on a pedestal. They looked up to them. They respected them. They loved them. But more than anything, they wanted to be them. Michael and Robert would stay up late researching crimes of serial killers, taking notes on their crimes, drawing pictures of what their crimes would look like if or when they decided to become infamous serial killers themselves. The boys would write out things that they would need to commit their crimes, such as ski masks, dark clothing, and different kinds of weapons that they could use to end the lives of many people. Not only that, but Robert, the 18-year-old, the older one, wrote down a goal. He had a goal that he wanted to end the lives of at least 500 people. Because he was older, he got a job, which means he started making money, which means that he could go out and buy the weapons and the things that he needed to make their dreams come true. And that's exactly what he did. Robert, the older one, pitched the idea to Michael, the younger one, that they needed to come up with a plan to make their sick dreams come true, to make their fantasies come to life. It was time to make them a reality. How scary. These boys had a loving family. They were raised in a loving home. They had parents that loved them. They had 5 siblings that loved them, and they didn't care about anything other than setting out to go end the lives of people and destroy people's lives and bring nothing but danger and pain. Like, that's crazy. At one point, their parents did notice that the boys seemed like they were starting to collect knives, but the parents just kind of brushed it off as boys being boys. They didn't really think anything of it. Now we get to the night of July 22nd, 2015 at 11:30 p.m. when dispatchers had just received that haunting 911 phone call. Officers are dispatched to the Bever family house, and while standing outside of the house, they hear a voice say, "Save me, save me." They break down the door, enter the house, and all they see is blood. Blood seemed to be on every single surface of the house. Walls, floors, ceilings, and smeared all over the furniture, and blood obviously came from the victims, but it also seemed, by the way that it was spread out, that it was smeared around the house on purpose, almost as if whoever did this wanted it to look as violent and heinous as possible. 13-year-old Crystal was lying in a pool of her own blood, covered in stab wounds. Her injuries were mainly around her throat, arms, and stomach. She was immediately rushed outside to paramedics. Next, they found the mother, 45-year-old April Bever. April had more than 48 wounds to the neck, head, torso, arms, and hands, and she had tragically lost her life. Right next to April was 12-year-old Daniel, the boy who had made that 911 call. He was also declared deceased on the scene, and he had 21 stab wounds to the back, shoulder, and chest. As officers continued to walk around the house, they found 3 more victims who were also tragically no longer alive. 54-year-old David, the father, he had at least 28 stab wounds to the torso, face, neck, left arm, and hand. 7-year-old Christopher, he was just a baby. He had 21 stab wounds to the back, chest, shoulder, and neck. And lastly, 5-year-old little baby Victoria, she had 23 stab wounds to both sides of the neck, her chest, back, and upper arm. Upstairs, officers were able to find the baby of the family, little Autumn. She was only 1 year old. Baby Autumn was the only one that seemed to have been left unharmed. She was found sleeping in a room in her pajamas. By this point, officers had already called for backup, they also had called over the K9 unit. The dogs were able to track the scent from inside of the house all the way through the back door and into the back woods behind the house. It did not take them long to track the scent to some bushes where Robert and Michael were found hiding. By 12:18 a.m., less than 1 hour from that 911 call, the boys were arrested and they were showing absolutely no remorse. Robert, the older one, actually even looked like he was smiling. He had a creepy smile on his face. Just to recap so nobody gets confused, Robert and Michael had ended the lives of their mother, their father, 2 of their brothers, and 1 of their little sisters. The only family members left alive besides them were baby Autumn and 13-year-old Crystal, who is now rushed to the hospital. Crystal was rushed to the hospital and taken into emergency surgery. She was still alive but in critical condition. Boys were taken to the station for questioning, and the recordings of their interviews with authorities, they send shivers down my spine. Not because they're scary and weird and being creepy, actually the complete opposite, because they're talking about it so casually, so like as if it was the most normal thing that they just killed their entire family. Michael, the younger one, is saying, yeah, we ordered weapons online, they were gonna get delivered tomorrow, but we did not want our mom and dad to see them, so we decided that we just had to kill everyone in the house. What? He tells authorities, yeah, and then we were gonna go drive to Washington and just start killing people. Yeah, that was the plan. Throughout the conversations with both boys, more of what happened that night came to light. Their plan was to end the life of their father first. But before they could get anything done, Crystal, their little sister, knocked on their door. They let her come inside their bedroom. They attacked her with a knife, and the mom heard the commotion downstairs, so she came rushing upstairs, which is when the boys turned their attention to their mother and started attacking her. Meanwhile, Crystal, the one they attacked first, was able to get away. She grabbed a phone and ran outside of the house. But before she had the opportunity to dial 911, she passed out because of her injuries. When she came back to it and she woke up, she was being carried back inside the house by her brother. The next victim to be attacked was their father, and after that, the boys started walking around the house looking for their 2 little siblings, little Christopher and Victoria. The 2 little ones were hiding behind a door that was closed. They were safe. But Michael, I can't even comprehend how you can be this evil. Michael started fake crying, pretending to need help. He was on the other side of the door asking them for help. And because the 2 babies thought that he was really in trouble, that he did need help, they unlocked the bathroom door to let him inside, which is when they were brutally attacked. The last one to lose his life was 12-year-old Daniel. Michael had used his same sick trick of pretending to need help and started to fake cry asking for help to get Daniel to open the door. And Daniel did, which is when Robert bursted in the door and started brutally attacking him. When Daniel was looking up at his 2 evil brothers, his last words were, "Don't kill me, I love you." When police asked the 2 boys why they left baby Autumn alone, why they didn't touch her, the boys confessed that the plan had not been to leave her there unharmed. The plan was actually to cut her off completely, but they just didn't have the time. Both Michael and Robert were charged with 5 counts of first-degree murder, and both boys would be charged as adults. Because Robert, the older one, was 18 years old at the time of the crime, he could be facing the death penalty. Crystal, one of the 2 sisters that survived, the one that was 13 years old at the time of the crime, was asked by investigators if she wanted to go after the death penalty. And she let authorities know that she did not want to go after that, as long as her brothers spent the rest of their lives in prison. Robert, the older one, pled guilty, so there was no trial for him. He was sentenced to 5 life sentences without the possibility of parole. Michael, however, would be pleading not guilty, so he would have a trial, and he was going to try and get out of it by pleading reason of insanity. So he went to trial, and Crystal, his little sister that he had tried to kill, had to stand there and testify against him. However, thankfully on August 9th of 2018, he was also given 5 life sentences without the possibility of parole. This case shattered my heart. It's so difficult for me to understand how a lot of times you hear of these attackers and these offenders having difficult lives at home, being raised in a household full of evil. That's all they've ever known. That's a common pattern with serial killers or violent criminals, but it's so difficult for me to understand how in this case, in this family, there were 5 other siblings that were raised completely normal. They would have grown up to be loving, wonderful people. But what went wrong with Robert and Michael? Why did they have such a sick, twisted, evil part of their brain? It's hard for me to get it. It's devastating, it's terrible, and it made me nauseous. But thank you for spending time with me today, for listening to this video. Hopefully it was an okay video. I know it's in my car, so it's kind of different, but let me know what you guys think. I love you all so much. Hope you're all having the best day. If not, go do something to make it the best day. Get yourself a little treat, make somebody happy. We'll see you in my next video. Massive kiss on the forehead to every single one of you.